Hi, friends, and welcome to Talking with Finnish People, the internet television program that tells you everything you've ever wanted to know. I'm free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Why am I free at last? I finished that damn series of books. I finished the last one last night, stayed up all night listening to it. I just woke up. It's like, 4 p.m. I just got up from my sleepings. Hi, lawnmower. But boy, was that a good last book. It just was like, wow. Exquisite. It was exquisite. It's funny, Tom Maryland, one of the characters in it, it's the Wheel of Time series that got like 14, 15 books in it, and took a long time to get through the whole thing. Like books 7 and 8 were pretty slow. But I really appreciated the inclusion of Brandon Sanderson to the equation. Hi.
Hi.
I couldn't sleep any more than I already had.
Nothing wrong with that. I heard you from outside. I'm glad you're live streaming.
Yeah, so I'm not feeling a whole lot of ideational vigor at the moment. Like, it's not like I'm streaming because I've got a lot of stuff to say. Yeah, there's so many books of it. It's such a huge world. My brain is filled with language from that series right now, books. Is that who the other writer is? Yeah, I like the books better once he started writing about them. I thought he improves the series substantially. The books get funnier, and the FE is better. It's like more. It's more effective at pulling on the various emotional strings. Once Brandon Sanderson or Saunders or whatever his name is comes in to help with the writing, I think he improved the series substantially. It's like the last book that Robert Jordan wrote by himself was so dense and slow. It's just like, okay, can you move the plot line along, please? The other thing that Robert Jordan has a habit of doing, which Brandon Sanders didn't do, is Robert Jordan likes to tell the same event from different perspectives. I don't like that. Brandon Sanders didn't do that. Once he started joining in with Robert Jordan, the writing got better. It got more concise, plot moved along faster. Guess who planned to go look at our new house, but ended up hurling a bunch of water into the toilet? Well, that's good. You didn't have to go.
It's so hot, I thought this magazine was going to turn into fire. Never fails.
Well, email Anthrax is because you're wrong. You didn't like the change. It was good.
I second that, and I didn't even read all of them.
I read, I think 14 of them, 15 of them. There's another one at the end it's a prequel that I don't need to read. The book series is basically over at the end of the one I just read, which is remember book 14. So there's 14 books in the series. There is a 15th book, but it's not It's not the conclusion of this story. The conclusion of this story is in book 14. Book 15 is like a prequel. So, you think INFJ girls are nice? Yeah, well, that's how they fool you.
Hey.
You are nice, of course, Rachel. Hi.
What's your present? Just
Aw,
your barbecue skills.
All right, thanks, Dad.
thank you.
Maybe we'll make this.
I don't know. That looks like it's supposed to be on like a 500-degree grill. So,
All right, maybe we'll cook this tonight.
okay.
I like to think I'm nice. Lero A. Do you feel great because you got it out of your system, Isaiah? Like you puked it all out? I'm doing my nails.
On the sody.
Yeah. Thank you. Could you open it for me?
Mm-hmm.
Aww.
We're gonna watch it, Lawnmower. They are making it into a TV series on Amazon Prime. Once they come out with it, we'll probably get Amazon Prime as a consequence.
But it's worth it because there's a lot of movies and stuff on Amazon Prime. Plus, Amazon Prime, you get your stuff like the next day. It's a present for me, Winston's mama. It's good to see you here, as always.
Damaging narratives made you hurl? That's pretty surprising, Isaiah Rude. I hadn't been aware that narratives were typically what made you
Well,
hurl.
that's good. Sometimes narratives can make a person hurl. I definitely like have hurled from bad narratives. I like coffee puke sometimes when people say dumb stuff on here.
But like a purging.
That's good.
Are you near the end of a cycle or near the beginning of a cycle? You're one of the two.
That's a good question. Aw, you look so like a happy sleepy panda just waking up. Or koala bear. More like a koala bear.
I don't really think that the book went to a different place. I think it got there faster once we included the second author into it. It got there faster. It moved faster.
Liked it. I liked listening to it a lot more with him when it was with Brandon Sanderson. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be willing to even consider checking out one of his books, Brandon Saunders' books that he wrote by himself.
Why not?
I'd consider checking it out. Yeah.
So.
Will you be ready to wear a turtleneck and a fancy pipe to get your critiquing on when watching it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you're gonna have to just fill me in.
Oh, you couldn't find the chapters past 12 or so? I must have given you a weird copy of it or something. I don't know. That's strange.
Sometimes things get lost on the internet too, you know. They're always updating like things, so like things get lost in the interwebs.
Oh, you were you were listening to me read it out loud? I never finished that.
Oh, that's what I did. That's why it's rude.
That's why. No, they are public. I just never finished that project. I read through chapter 12 and then I guess I stopped working on that. Da-da-da-da-da. Well, you're right. Email and interact. It did become more instant gratification, but That's what I'm looking for in my fantasy books.
I always mess up like one nail.
No, it's funny. The book is for sale, but not by me or by anybody that I authorize to sell it. It's for sale on Amazon as a PDF for $5 or something like that. But
You don't.
I don't see any of that
That's
money.
so weird.
It's like, that's not me selling it. I don't know who's selling it or why, but
That's happened before. That's so strange.
yeah, you can buy it, but I have nothing to do with
You don't
that.
get the profit.
I have self-published on Lulu as a free PDF. So I guess that means there's nothing stopping somebody else from trying to resell it if they want to. So, I don't really have any complaint about it because since I'm giving it away anyway, somebody else wants to sell it. Well, I mean,
That's what they're doing.
I'd be happier for somebody to buy it from them and read it than for somebody to not get it for free from me and not read it.
Okay, I hear you. It's the information that is important. Can I have
That's your soda. This
Thanks,
is my
babe.
soda. My bad.
It's okay. You just woke up. You're the kid who just woke up.
I am the kid who just woke up. What's the kid who just woke up does?
He has a blanket around him and he just woke up. He has hair that goes sticks up it's from SNL. It's like a kid who's a teen who has a blanket wrapped around him. He's like, I don't know. I just woke up. It's like a halfway funny character. Like you live it much more well than the character. I don't find Andy Samberg to be that funny. So I think the idea of having a character called Kid Who Just Woke Up
is a good idea.
Yeah,
Right.
but he doesn't
He doesn't really
execute
kill.
it well. Yeah. Hey, Rafael Oliveros.
Yeah, see, Isaiah Rude, one of the things that happens in that book before Brandon gets involved is Robert Jordan hammers the character development arcs too much. So it's like he'll have Rand saying, well, I'm no lord, too many times.
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson. Okay. So it's with Robert Jordan, I was constantly okay, I get it already. You don't need to give me 6 examples of the same fucking character trait that you're evolving for me to get it, That's how I kept feeling when I was in book 8 and 7. Will you stop beating the shit out of this dead horse? Also, once Brandon Sanderson gets involved, all of a sudden you have some progressive shit in there too. There's some gay characters. Hey Abe, how you doing?
Hey, Abe.
There's some gay characters and stuff in the later books, and there weren't any in the earlier books. And he's funnier too. He has some funny stuff. Hi, Brittany.
Hey, female INTP.
But I really do. I found the world very well developed. It's a very rich and detailed world. I'm still in my head. I have this sort of mental map, even though I haven't looked at any map of the real-time world of the main continent, the continent that like represents kind of like Africa or something, Shahar, and then the Xiantian continent, which is it's sort of like the main country of it, which I'm free from these books that I've been reading, although I'm still talking about them, but that'll pass pretty quick. Like the main country in the book that were Rand and you've been making gamming videos where you show your gams.
Are gams like your teeth?
I think it's your thighs.
Yeah.
It's like your yams or your
yams. Yeah, I like to call yours your yams. Yeah, they're like lead to your butt. Gams.
Gamming videos. So, okay, well, I hate the inclusiveness too, Lawnmower, in general, if it's done just for its own sake. But I will say that in these books, I didn't feel like it was that very much. It was
Show me your gams, baby. Yeah, exactly. I do like when he shows his gams.
I mean, it's kind of weird because I do tend to think nowadays, what is up with this universe that there's only straight people in it? You know,
I like that.
it's I can't help but just think like, you know, I'm so immersed in the media changes of the world as most people are that now it seems weird to me if a universe doesn't have any gay characters.
Yeah, it does. That's what's happening in like movies and stuff with ethnicity.
Right, but see, there it's ridiculous because that's not a real thing.
Don't even start. I know. I fucking know it. Don't I know it?
But having characters that are
multifaceted.
You know, like having a universe as big as Robert Jordan's.
Yeah.
To have all straight people feels
Yeah.
like a weirdly artificial constraint
Yes.
almost.
You know why? It's like South Park. Like
Mhm.
South Park has a very large cast. So for it not to have like some of that
That's why
stuff
there's
in it,
Token.
right? Exactly. Exactly. My point exactly.
Why is what important? Oh, besides important romance or stuff? Well, what I'm saying is I grew up reading tons of science fiction fantasy books, swords and dragons books, and there was never any gay characters in any of them. You know, it's all, and it's part of where I got my own weird, kind of messed up understanding of chicks is from reading all those fantasy books. Because in those fantasy books, typically chicks are put up on a pedestal as these sort of virginal damsel in distress type things that, you know, you rescue them, and then after they finally realize that you're true of heart, then they give themselves to you, you know, like that kind of thing, right?
Hey, there's supposed to be some like shooting stars tonight.
Well, we're not in
Yeah.
a good place to see shooting stars, but we will see if we can see a few of them.
That's okay. I did though. Remember one time I saw a comet?
Yeah, but it's just there's so much light pollution around here. Naruto's another world like that where it's an extremely huge world, right?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
there aren't any gay characters in it.
And sometimes they like allude to it, to the possibility.
I mean,
But
yeah,
it's
you
so
really have to
faint
read
that
between
you
the
can't
lines.
even
If you're-
really, yeah, exactly.
But on the other hand, it's a very innocent show too, Naruto, in that they don't really have much romance at all. It's all very non-explicit. So, but regardless,
I have a problem with that.
whereas in the Wheel of Time books, in the Wheel of Time books, there's a lot of romance going on in the books. A lot of relationships getting started and people, you know, getting in the sheets with each other and stuff like that, right?
Mad is known for kissing every girl in the land.
Right, and none of it's they don't there's not any like sex scenes in the book, but there are. There's a lot of powerful female characters, Rafael Alvieros. Nobody's saying Naruto is
No.
not inclusive gender wise. It
Yeah.
is, but as far as L. Ron Hubbard goes, absolutely incredibly terrible writer. Like
What did he write?
he wrote Battlefield Earth. The dude did have 3 wives. Yes, he did. Well, he has one. He has one wife. No, he had 2 wives plus men. He has 2 wives and men, and the 2 wives they're first sisters in the with the Aiel way. So it's like
Yep.
they're all bonded to each other. Anyway, but Min ends up going off to Shanshan at the end anyway.
That's good. Take one away.
Oh yeah, well the Naruto world's not so damsel in distressy. For sure.
You want to see beauty though.
Oh my goodness. Is that the P? Yes, it is. It's the P and the P and the P.
Oh, PP.
What a highly important kitty friend.
My favorite ISFP.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Aw.
They're all bonded. How's that different from a wife? Well, it's different from a wife because he only actually marries Elaine. No, he doesn't marry Elaine, does he? He only marries Avienda, I think.
Brand?
Yeah, he's got 3 chicks. It's true. He's got Min, Avienda, and Elaine, but he doesn't marry them all. Yes, I was wearing this shirt yesterday, probably.
That happens a lot on this channel.
Yeah, I don't change
I'm
my.
wearing this yesterday too.
I don't change my clothes that often. Not really any great need. Elaine from Seinfeld is a Mary Sue character.
No.
What? I don't.
She-
I think having a wife would be useful if someone else has to have sex with her. What was this, Mom? Yeah. Okay. I mean, I agree. Everyone should have a wife. And that would be unfair to exclude women from that.
Yeah. I did make a beat. I did.
Okay. I was just asking if you meant that she was one.
No, he was saying Rey from the newer
Star Wars is a Mary Sue character.
They call her Mary Sue because she is like she just comes out of nowhere and has like powers. There's no like plot behind her. She's like fresh.
Okay, so a Mary Sue character is a character with no backstory.
Basically.
I need to know. I need to not be here if real time stuff's being discussed, or perhaps I have a strange version of spoilers.
No. Okay, that's fine. We don't want to do any spoilers then.
Yeah,
Are you reading it right now, Isaiah?
Well, yeah, there might be some.
Emailed Anthrax.
There might be some spoilers in this discussion. I'm sorry I say rude, but the thing to remember is, it's the wheel of time, for God's sake. It tells you at the beginning exactly how it's going to end.
Yeah. Min predicts like.
I mean, there aren't any big surprises in the book per se.
No, it just finishes off nice.
Yeah, it does. It finishes off really well. And you know what's cool? Also, in the last book, they introduced a new character that, which when you're getting into your 14th book of this world and have all these storylines going on, how could you possibly introduce a new character and storyline at that point? Well, it works beautifully. I love that new character, and he addresses or resolves a storyline problem with the Black Tower that has been going on for a long time. And I think, hey, that's impressive that you can pull that off there, because And I really like the new character. He grew to be one of my favorite characters by the end of the last
Wow.
book. Hi, Morage.
Hi, Marge.
ENFP would be a great man wife, if not. ENFP men are
Our man wives.
they're a little man wifey. Yeah.
Yep. I have expressed that to Eric before. But they're a lot of fun. They as with kids, like the NE comes in handy.
But see, the last book is not a whole independent narrative. It's the last piece of a very big narrative.
All right. Okay, Isaiah, since we are talking about Isaiah Rude, what Aja are you? What color?
What color is your Aja? Oh. Well, there are actually plenty of, it's not unreasonable
What?
to imagine there being people in distress in a book who need rescuing, right? Someone's got to be rescued in the book for all the FE to happen. So obviously some of the people who get rescued in a book are going to be chicks. If it's all like chicks who get rescued and the only strong characters are male characters, then that's going to be a very boring book.
Oh, you're just being negati.
She's just pointing out possible flaws.
You know what knows? I've been there.
When an event becomes legend, and legend becomes myth, and then even myth fades from memory, the event itself will happen again with the timing of the wheel, the turning of the wheel.
Oh, see that FI? That's great. That pulled that out of you. I felt like that with the last season of Mad Men. The finale was one of the best I've ever seen. It cleaned everything up. Not all of them were fairy tales, and it was good. Just like Eric feels about the last book of the Wheel of Time series.
Gurm's prose. Who's Gurm?
Grom.
GRRM. Talking about some book series here.
Oh.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones. George R.R. Martin. Did he finish the books, though? I don't think he actually ever finished the books. I used to watch the HBO television show. That last season was one of the worst I have ever seen.
Kaizo.
He did finish the book series? No, not yet. Yeah, no, he hasn't finished it. No.
Kaizo's here to accuse me of being a fake ENTP.
There's always got to be one of them.
Yeah. Kaizo's a real ENTP. So he'll switch gears here quickly enough. He should know better. He should know better than that. This is just a weak opening. You can do better than that. Come on now. Come on, Kaizo. That's the best you can come up with for an opening? I haven't seen you in ages either. You can do better than that.
Can I name my butt as an ENTP?
Name your butt Kaizo. Kaiser the ENTP.
Wait, that's from upon my butt.
Yeah.
I only want my butt to be. I don't want.
You don't want your butt to be
Kaiser's-
called Kaiser? Okay.
No.
All right, we'll call your butt ENTP.
Yeah. Just like in the body parts, it's not Kaizo though.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not that. I don't want no name attached to my butt except for ENTP.
And Rachel's butt.
Yeah. He knows.
There are no beginnings and ends in the wheel of time, but it was a beginning and it was an end.
That's the most important part.
I mean, the best thing to say about cognitive functions is that they are a way to explain personality. It explains why some people are very similar to each other. Some people are very different.
My grandma's quarantined right now.
Quarantine her ass. Quarantine grandma.
She is because sounds about right though. It really does.
Well, I guess if you wanted a more philosophical explanation of it, you could say the personality comprises how agencies render realities as entities.
He
You know?
always said, "I don't believe in God, but I'm afraid of him."
Well, I believe in God, and the other thing that scares me is Kaiser Soze. Good movie.
Which key? Buster or Diane?
I was assuming Buster.
I'm thinking Buster too.
Neat. You believe in God? Well, neat. I've had this discussion plenty of times before, but you're making a category error.
My favorite kitty.
You're acting as
friend.
though your relationship with God is predicated on an affirmation or a assertion, some sort of claim that one defends or doesn't defend. So, if you'd like me to explain it more, I can. Our ENTP is more prone to highs and lows as we get the dopamine hit on the front side and we are in our heads much. I wouldn't say I'm. Well, yeah. I mean, okay. An ENTP in an actual state of being has bursts of energy and productivity, and then has stretches of what you might call stubborn self-indulgence. So the thing about that stubborn self-indulgence is everybody has it, but what it really manifests as is being too stuck in your first and second functions and being able to
Sometimes you just gotta puke. So, we like Bitburger non-alcoholic beer, and I was at one point, my body associated it with the taste of real beer that I threw up, and it felt like a purge. Not gonna lie, it really did. Good, and a good purge. I do believe in the phrase "better out than in." In my
favorite movie. Well, I gotta say, I really, really enjoyed Harry Potter 4,
Too.
which we just watched. It was so well done. The fourth one is called Goblet of Fire,
Yeah.
and we just recently saw that. And Rachel and I have been seeing a lot of movies. Of all the ones that we saw since we got together, probably Goblet of Fire is my favorite one.
Me too.
But another really good one was Kung Fu Hustle.
Yeah, Kung Fu Hustle. That's one of my yeah,
One
me
of
too.
my favorites.
Yeah, that's probably my number 2. I really like Goblet of Fire. I thought everyone was at their peak for that movie. Now look, granted, I haven't seen the others, the final other ones, but
Right, we'll see 5 soon enough.
yeah, I'm not like, but Goblet of Fire was really great. I really enjoyed it.
The third one was also really good.
Yeah.
But
I think the fourth one.
But the fourth one was just
so good.
so good. I couldn't believe how. I just couldn't believe how everything just like popped. It's like boom, boom, boom. Everything worked.
Yep. Harry thinks like sees his like father too. It's just like so good. So good.
William Dafoe should have been in a Harry Potter book. Green Goblet of Fire. 3 was good too. Is 5 not so good or what? Oh, 5 and 8 are great. I'm looking forward to 5 though.
Wait.
HP 7 Part 2 when they drop the Stone Warriors Teardrops. And they summon the Stone Warriors Teardrops. Okay, well, so it sounds like we got a couple more good ones still to go.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
I look forward to that as well.
I'd really like to watch Wet Hot American Summer with you. I think you would like it.
Okay.
It's a comedy, but it's like with Michael Ian Black and those people from that show. The 3 guys on Comedy Central. It's Mike, and I don't know. Damn.
Was it called like
The 2000 show.
is it Upright Citizens Brigade?
They were in that too.
Oh. What else? Kids in the Hall. That's
Kids in the Hall was
That's
Thomas
Canadian.
Lennon. Yeah, that was in the 80s, early 90s. That was.
Kids
I
in the
used to
Hall
watch
did some
Kids
great
in the
stuff.
Hall.
I used to
Yeah, they
love it too.
really did, and that's why I think Reno 911 was so good because it had a lot of those people on it, like the tall, skinny lady. You know what I'm talking about? And Reno 911. So and in Kids in the Hall, she's in the Hall too. She's just like a tall, like gangly lady. She's like super funny.
The Kids in the Hall were all dudes though.
I thought that she was in there. I thought that she was in there too. Maybe not. But wasn't Thomas Lennon in it?
I'm not sure who Thomas Lennon is.
Oh.
The main guy of
I know Kids in the Hall.
the main guy of what was that show called? Like Newsroom or something, or he was in Kids in the Hall.
Oh yeah. Newsroom?
No, it wasn't called Newsroom. It was something news.
News radio?
News radio, yeah. The main guy in that was from Kids in the Hall, right?
I don't know. We gotta look this up.
News radio with Dave Foley. Yeah, Dave Foley.
Dave Foley! Yeah.
He was in Kids in the Hall,
Dave
right?
Foley, yeah. Yeah, but who else was in it? There were more people who were like.
Who were in Kids in the Hall?
I thought so.
Yeah, Kids
I used to watch Kids in the Hall with my friends back in the day. Like they bought the DVDs, and I watched like. Oh my God! It's been so long. It is all dudes. That's right.
It was in the. It went on from like 89 through 93.
Wow.
That's old.
Yeah, it is. So funny. It's Canadian.
Mm-hmm. This is the guy who
And
was
he's on news radio?
this guy right here.
Holy shit.
That's not a very good picture of them all, is it?
No, only one. And no, it's not. Oh, God. It's a funny picture.
Cats or dogs? Well, I have a cat currently. Chicken Lady's funny. You know, what was that movie they made? They made a good movie too. I currently have a cat. I used to have a dog. Dogs are it's such an intense relationship with a dog. You know, if I'm going to have a dog, I'm going to want to take the dog everywhere with me. What's your expertise on the personality types? Do you ever trigger certain types of entertainment by you? I used to. Or just because I just felt like it or was mad at something or whatever. But yeah, Phil Hartman. He didn't die. He was murdered.
Yeah, remember we talked about that? His wife. And the kids, too. It's really sad.
Oh, he killed her. She killed the kids, too?
Everyone's gone.
What a horrible woman.
Yeah. That was really sad. I remember that. I remember Princess Diana's death. I remember, like, O.J. Simpson being, like, innocent. Like,
Phil Hartman, though, was so funny.
Unabomber. I remember when the war in Iraq, both times. Saudi Arabia. I was thinking about how it's so funny how I had no idea that Manifest Destiny was said by Monroe.
I appreciate you saying that, Isaiah Rude. I do. Are you talking about the new one, 30,000 Days? I don't think you're being too dramatic. I appreciate it. It's good FE. It successfully worked on me. I do know that experience of sometimes I used to do it. Used to happen more when I'd misappraise something at first and then realize, oh, this has got more going on than I think it does. Now I am quicker about other people's stuff, not necessarily my own. I'm still kind of slow about my own. The voice of Ducky was murdered. Ducky from the Land Before Time. I'm not familiar with that.
Or like Ducky from like Tiny Toons.
Well, and they retired. You may know me from such shows as What was that guy's character's name in Simpsons?
Oh yeah,
Troy McClure. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such shows as Skating with Oysters and some other shit like that, right?
Skating with Oysters, yeah.
Now you're smoking for two, baby.
Hi, Pee-Pee.
And Troy McClure has a fish fetish.
Oh my gosh, it's so
He doesn't like human women.
That's so funny.
When he's having this sham marriage with Marge's sister, remember?
Oh.
He's having a sham marriage with Marge's sister. He's gonna have a sham marriage with Marge's sister because it's really helping his career. Because his career was hurt by these rumors of his sexual fish fetish.
It's funny. Very clever.
I had a pretty early episode of Simpsons. That was
Sure, I've seen it.
probably
Honestly, yeah. I would rewatch The Simpsons. The Simpsons I love. That was one cartoon that like my dad was like, no, the kids can watch that because he likes Homer Simpson. He thinks he's good-hearted.
If MBTI can't be pinned down but has great validity anyway, why don't you monetize it more? I mean, how does that question emerge from the first part? I don't know. Like saying, If that thing has wings and feathers, why don't you throw it in the water? Or if that thing has wings and feathers, why don't you feed it a banana sundae? It's like the things are unrelated to each other. It's not that I'm not denying that maybe I should or shouldn't monetize it. What do you mean monetize it more? How do I monetize it more? Like I'm already selling typing sessions. I've already got the channel monetized. This is before everything had a TV in their room. Oh, back in the day. Yeah, well, I grew up without a whole lot of TV too.
I think I grew up on TV. I'm a TV kid. I was totally a couch potato. Although I did spend a lot of time outside. In summer times, I spent a lot of time outside. And then I spent time outside with my friends plenty. But like TRL as a teen, and I used to watch Nickelodeon all the time. I was 100% a TV kid. Like, I think I was raised on TV.
I was definitely raised on books. And I was a couch potato with books, sort of. Like, I've always done what I just did. That hasn't changed a bit. I've always been so bingy on shit. As soon as I got into a fantasy book when I was a kid, I would have it with me and be reading it continually until I was done with the whole series. I just couldn't. It's just like I couldn't stop, I guess, or something. I crashed my bicycle because I was reading fantasy books while riding my bicycle to school.
Wow.
I don't know what my favorite book or series is. I can tell you some influential books on me, books that I remember well. As far as like literature goes, one book that made kind of a big impact on me is Dr. Faustus by Herman Mann, I think his name is. Not Goethe's version of it, but Thomas Mann. Thomas Mann, that's his name. The German writer. It's translated from the German, but your INFP says I have problems with addictions. You think? Do you think, Email Anthrax? You think I'm a little bit of an addictive personality type? Hello, my least favorite bearded 50-year-old ENTP 7 wing 8 cloud hating TI loving blah blah blah. I don't hate you, Cloud. And I'm probably the only such person in your life, so I'm also your most favorite.
Do you think Email Anthrax is an INFP?
No, he's going out with an INFP.
Oh,
so he says my
INFP. Yeah. Got you.
Like you're my INFJ. My INFJ says blah 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 blah. Like that.
I wasn't really allowed to watch Married with Children as a kid.
I remember the first time I saw Christina Applegate, I thought she was the most attractive girl I had ever seen in my life. In Married with Children.
Yeah, she was. I thought that about Kelly from Saved by the Bell too. I was like, oh my god, like she's such a pretty face. Like, how is that even possible? Okay, so I feel like Married with Children, like I didn't mind watching in like small doses. Like I would never like first of all I wasn't allowed to watch it, so I would catch it like when it was on. And then I would like see like repeats when I was like older. Sometimes I would watch it at my grandma's house too. But like I didn't really like it wasn't like something that like I was like drawn to like go back to every single time. Ted Bundy was cool. The shoe salesman guy. I like the mom a lot. Peggy Bundy. She's cool. Yeah, Christina Applegate.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't age well. Gen X heel. So a lot of stuff back then it doesn't age very well, and for reasons like that. For example, um, the music video by Lionel Richie with the blind girl. Hello, where he's a. It seems like he's a high school teacher, a high school art teacher, who's in love with his blind student. It's a very strange. If you haven't seen it, what song is it again? What's it called? Oh, hello. It's the way you're looking for.
I can see it in your eyes.
It's so creepy. It's such a creepy video. It's like, what the fuck is this guy thinking?
I love you. Yeah.
You
And he's
know?
like touching the like he's like the mold of the clay that she's making. It's so weird. So weird. That didn't age well. Thriller still ages well. I think Thriller was one of the first music videos I ever saw on TV.
Yeah, probably one of the first music videos I saw on TV too.
Really?
Because, well, that was. I mean, I'm sure I saw some MTV videos and stuff like that before, but it's probably the first video I saw that wasn't on either MTV or VH1.
Wow.
You know, I remember seeing it on like a regular channel.
Cool. It was on MTV where I saw him, but like it was the first one that I ever saw, and I think was like, wow, that's so like creepy plus cool plus the dancing. Yeah.
I think condemning something to be not worth thinking about condemns free thinking. Well, I think that justifying that you can't talk about that or make those arguments as a justification for something is a problem. If birds are able to fly, but you have trouble explaining the aerodynamics involved, why don't you start selling birds as pets? Thank you, Horace Mumbler, for coming up with a better analogy than I could come up with. You actually came up with an analogy there. I just sort of pointed out well, there is, you're correct. There's more of a connection there than I acknowledged. Yeah, you're making sense, Isaiah Rude. You're rolling along the caverns of any FITI spelunking. SI.
You were an object.
The truth is, free thinking is usually meant to describe TI. Because the TI approach and FI approach to drawing conclusions about things is the deliberative approach is the way in which you go, I'm not going to rely on you to help me draw my conclusions. I'm going to draw them myself, whether it's FI or TI in the first or second slot. So people who are accused of not being free thinking are typically going to be accused of going with somebody else's idea without really parsing it themselves. Now, if the person's FI, then they are going to parse it themselves, but it's not going to validate universally at all. So they're less likely to be called free thinkers. But TI people are more likely to be called free thinkers because they're choosing to deliberate about everything themselves and draw their own conclusions rather than relying on, say, an expert or citations or something like that, you know. Merry Christmas to you too, Raphael. What personality type naturally needs validation? ESFPs. I know as an ENTP, I hate being dismissed, but don't feel validation is as important. Thoughts? Wait till your hit is over. We have an interesting relationship with validation. So it's you say I hate being dismissed, but don't feel validation is as important. You probably hate being ignored one way or the other. So you want people to respond to what you say. And if people don't respond to actually what you say, but answer a different question or avoid your question or something like that, then they're not allowing you to be you in a meaningful way. And in that sense, you're gonna feel invalidated by them. The issue is the word validation, right? It's like there's explicit or external locutionary frame validation saying you are smart, I like you, you are a good person. Me saying like positive things to you about that, there's that kind of validation. But ENTPs look for a more subtle kind of understanding of FE validation, not immensely subtle, but more than that, something like we're gonna be able to read validation in other people's responses to us, whether they are expressed in it or not. We do want to believe that people find us competent, And that's the thing. It's like, as far as validation go, there are two basic metrics upon which people validate each other: competency and warmth. So ENTPs are likely to need validation on competency and to not want or particularly feel as though they need validation on warmth at first. Eventually, they are going to feel like they need validation on warmth as well. But that's sort of an evolution of the third and fourth slots over time. That's a lie. That's a damn lie. What's a lie, Raphael? I mean, it's ridiculous to even say driving high. Like, when I'm pulling bowls right now, let's say I was to pull a couple more bowls and then go get in the car. By the time I get in the car, I feel exactly the same as I do now. There's absolutely no sane person would say that I'm intoxicated when I smoke marijuana. It is in fact something that is within the range of how I feel after running, jogging or something. Makes me feel kind of equivalent to smoking a bong rip. It's not an intoxicant like alcohol is. It's not even really a drug per se. It's a lot more like tobacco than it is like alcohol for people who smoke it all the time, like I do. It's also the truth that if you don't smoke cigarettes at all and you were to smoke one while driving, it would probably get you too high to be safely driving in some sense. If you want to say that any head change is justification for a legal prohibition on your operating a vehicle, which you shouldn't say that. It's a matter of spectrum, right? Like, obviously, if somebody's shit-faced drunk, they can't drive very well. Not as well as they can when they're sober. It's obviously different with marijuana. You got that right. Eggentier, alcohol is bad for any doms, I think. Well, I mean, look, there has to be an understanding that there's a fundamental difference between alcohol and marijuana is that you don't develop a meaningful tolerance for alcohol. For example, I don't care how strong your tolerance is for alcohol. If you drink 10 shots of tequila, you are not going to be sober, period. Now, in contrast, let's say I never drank before and I just had 2 shots of alcohol, well, I'd probably be buzzed and maybe I shouldn't drive or whatever. But the difference between the experienced drinker drinking 10 shots of alcohol and the inexperienced drinker drinking 10 shots of alcohol is nominal. They're both going to be incredibly drunk. Now, the difference between an inexperienced weed smoker smoking 2 bong rips and an experienced weed smoker smoking 10 bong rips is epically different from that. So, in other words, if you don't smoke any marijuana and you start smoking a bunch of bowls right now, then it would be the case that you would be too intoxicated to drive. But it doesn't matter how many bong rips I smoke. Would not be the case that I'd be intoxicated really at all. This is my norm, and it's not like alcohol in that regard. It's not possible for me to smoke myself into oblivion, no matter how many bong rips I smoke. I can smoke 10 bong rips in a row and be kind of like, oh, okay, I need to take a break for a second. But, I mean, even if I were to go get in the car shortly thereafter, it still wouldn't impact my driving at all. I've been driving high, quote unquote, for, 35 years or something. I agree, Eric. I tried to do 100 bong rips one night and I puked before I got too high. Exactly. Now, granted, you must have had some relatively shitty weed. Because I did pull like 20 bong rips on 420 or something like that. And I was just like, okay, that's enough. 100 that's very ambitious. Okay, Raphael, nobody in Germany is drinking 30 beers and driving heavy machinery very accurately. 30 beers. You're telling me that people in Germany, people go into work after drinking 30 beers and and then driving heavy machinery very accurately. Yeah, I'm not likely to go on any 1 to 4 week marijuana break for some more. So that's very unlikely. I don't I don't need to test it anymore. I've actually tested it plenty of times in the past. I've had stretches of time where I didn't smoke weed. And yeah, you get high again when you start smoking for like the first couple times. It's back to normal. Like right now, I got the weed sweats. My scalp's all sweaty because this is pretty good weed, and I pulled a fair number of bong rips. But I could still drive just fine. No, they would not, Raphael, because alcohol is a fundamentally different kind of substance. Okay, you don't get it. It's like a different curve. Okay, so alcohol, it doesn't have a plateau. Weed does. It's like I can only get this high and not any higher. I keep drinking, I keep getting drunker, no matter how much of an alcoholic I am. Oh yeah, Herman Cain. I remember him. He died. Believe me, I've been an alcoholic, Raphael. I'm a recovering alcoholic. You gotta respect the fact that it's insane to treat the two as though they were the same. I mean, like I said, I get sick of smoking it before I get there. Like my lungs can't take that much, and I get pukey or whatever. Bye, Glenn Body. You be well as well. You be well, but I be illin'. You can channel till I be stillin' you. Oh yeah, that book this morning, man. I closing out that book, and just the last several hours of listening to it. There's no such thing as a weed addict, Raphael. You're just trying to stir the pot and Jesus Christ, Raphael, you're nutty. You're an absolute nutty nut. Here you are talking to me, watching me pull bong rip after bong rip, and fundamentally interacting with you in the same way that I do every time, right? On other occasions, you'll see me not smoke bong rips for long stretches of time. I mean, you are just desperate to make a fundamentally wrong point. Yeah, correct, Isaiah Rude. You could, I would agree with you that an impact turn would be the best thing to do with that. However, I don't want to concede his warrant. So it's like, yes, if we were just debating a debate round, your strategy would be wise. You'd want to try to do an impact turn. But I am saying, but to do an impact turn, you have to concede the warrant. So, okay, you're right that there is such a thing as weed addiction. And you're right that it makes you fundamentally different than somebody who's not a weed addict. I'm not willing to concede those points, so I don't want to do an impact turn. To do an impact turn, I have to concede those points. No, it's not unreasonable to drive on any psychotropic substance. How do you define whether I'm on such a substance? Raphael, whether I smoked it or not? You can test my bloodstream levels, but they're not going to be very different than they are at any time, whether I smoked it an hour ago or 10 hours ago, right?
No.
You're basically saying I shouldn't be allowed to drive at all until all the marijuana leaves my system. But that's ridiculous. I'm not intoxicated for a month. Why would I not be able to drive for a month? Is it reasonable to drive while having your head ripped off and arms burning? It's an excellent question, Cloud.
That is a good question.
And while worms are eating you from the inside, I would say no. I'd say it's unreasonable. Thank you, Horse Mumbler, for explaining what I was trying to say in more sciencey terms.
Aww.
Alcohol is monohydric. Weed is full of exclusively tetrahydric alcohols. Totally different chemical bonds and effects. You can't get THC high past a certain point. Not so with monohydric alcohol. Yeah, what he says.
Yeah.
Raphael.
Yeah, I third that. Can you pee out some cards for me?
All right, Rachel. Knight of Swords.
Oh.
Four of Pentacles. And 10 of Sticks.
Oh no.
Eric, right? INFPs need NoFap because of SC Polar and being TE seeking. I don't think anybody needs NoFap, okay? I don't understand the appeal of NoFap. I guess if you're very like into masturbating, like I just can't stop masturbating all the time,
Yeah.
then fine. But I didn't argue your point. You just want to show off. We move. What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. Let's see here. The Ghost Rider is considered an outlaw, so I suppose not. Who's the Ghost Rider? Is he some sort of character? Oh, not to me. Masturbation is good for your prostate. Well, masturbation is better for your prostate than not ejaculating. But I think sex is better for your prostate than masturbation.
Thanks, Faye.
I mean, I think there's science behind this, actually.
There probably
The
is.
male body knows whether you are masturbating or actually having sex. And it produces a lot more semen-filled ejaculate when you're actually having sex than when you're masturbating.
Mm.
Twoostowie. It's a twoostowie. How does your body know?
Story.
How does your body
How
know?
does your body know? That's the real question.
With SI. That's how.
That is how. Oh my goodness.
Where's that fly swatter? Can I open this door for a second?
Sure.
Are you playing straighten your back?
Yeah.
You playing back straighten girl?
Yeah, my ET butt is.
Back straighten
That's
girl.
what they always say. Is to pick your whole thing up, but I'm always like my butt.
Do you think Tesla, Newton, Christ, and Buddha were beating each other's mates in a big circle jerk? Yeah, I do.
Me too.
I do. I was there. I was watching. I was filming it for to upload onto Pornhub. Tesla, Newton, Christ, and Buddha were all circle jerking one day. When all of a sudden, it's funny. Jesus said, "Hey, stop that! That's sinful." And Buddha's like, "What?" Tesla's like, "I find it electrifying." They preserve their life essence, semen. Why is semen your life essence? I've never.
Who calls it that?
I don't know. It's like I've ejaculated plenty of times, right, in my life. I haven't in a couple of days now. The only difference between having more semen in me and less is that I'm more likely to want to hump the longer it's been since the previous time I've humped, right? That's not life energy. That's lust. And the thing that shoots out is not life energy either. It's cum. You know what I'm saying? I would never. If that's a terrible choice. Of course, you'd never masturbate again. You'd get so full of poop if you never pooped again.
You know why I'm a guy with the wrong tool to scoop up the leaves with? Because I forgot to take my medication, and it's definitely way too late to take it.
I don't think it is.
No?
Yeah, you should take it. You're only like, 5 hours later than usual. And just set tomorrow, take it like at 3 or something, and work your way back
Okay.
towards noon. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Why do I want more testosterone, Cloud? Why is that life energy? It's like, do I need to be more masculine or something? You think I'm not masculine enough? You want me to go like beat people up or what? Because you become a real man, Chad. So why do I want to be a Chad? Is it because I want to go out and slay the puss or something? Because I'm in a relationship, and even if I weren't, I don't like to do that. More testosterone and strength. You have to be a Chad, otherwise your existence is worthless. Well put, Cloud. Well put. I mean, it's not like I'm recommending a regimen of multi faps a day fapathons. I'm just saying there's no reason to explicitly stop yourself from doing that if you're so inclined. Yeah, Raphael's you're gonna win this one, Raphael. You're gonna win this argument for sure. Either you have a woman or you fap. End of the story. Correct. Cloud, who doesn't? Cloud says, quote, I, Cloud, like to masturbate while thinking about C.S. Joseph. Join the crowd, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are in your boat. I'm not one of them, but...
Neither am I, just for the record.
But among C.S. Joseph fans, I'm sure that's very common.
Uh-huh. Poor girls.
My issues are internal. My approach to communicating isn't the best. But I'm vigorous in my self-critique. So at least I've got objective self-criticism.
Truth.
Do you dig Pollock? Jackson Pollock, the painter? No.
God,
I think it's dumb.
I don't like his stuff either, actually. What kind of art do you like?
I'm not very particular about my paintings, I guess. I'll know when I see it.
That's cool. I like that.
But I don't have any sort of style or anything I don't really even. I don't tend to think of things too much well, sometimes I do. Like I'll say, like that's a very Art Deco-y looking building or something. Okay. I think I'm more aware of architecture. Because I just maybe because I went on a lot of tours as a kid, or I traveled a lot as a kid and read brochures, visit some building and have some lady walk you around and go, and this is this style of art. I did a lot of that shit. Probably is why.
Aww.
Is there any time a woman's on the other side of the glory hole? Excellent question, Pia. Excellent question. Probably.
No. It's you got a 50-50 shot.
If you're not a Chad, you're a virgin within the dichotomy of that meme, at least. Eric is and could be memed as the Chad metaphysician. The C.S. Joseph's virgin typological charlatans. That's fantastic. Severe identity crisis. Severe identity crisis sounds like a good name for a cop show. It's like a metaphysical cop show. You're posturing. No, I'm not posturing. I don't believe it. I think C.S. Joseph is probably ESTJ. Yeah, I do, obviously, have an ethical critique of it. I haven't necessarily even seen the things I'm critiquing here, to be perfectly frank. I've seen the titles and a little bit of a couple of them, enough to get the idea that it's a very behaviorist frame, I guess you could say, a sort of amoral behaviorist frame that you should be able to maneuver people with various stimuli. it violates the deontological imperative. The deontological imperative is don't use other agents as a means to an end. So it's exactly the opposite of a TI principled morality, which is not inconsistent with ESTJ. You know, I have to remember always that. Oh yeah, he's definitely not an ENTP, C.S. Joseph.
No.
Definitely not. Yeah, I think we can eliminate ENTP. I just don't see any ideation at all from him. One reason we know we can eliminate ENTP is when asked to justify his explanations for things, he makes citations rather than arguments. I don't know who Ty Lopez is exactly. The name sounds very familiar, but I can't put any picture to the face or what he does or says or anything. I put a Chad Kroger quote into the comments, and it involved putting something hard. Interesting. Any equals talking. C.S. Joseph is talking like Broken Record. Well, the thing is, citations can be used to argue. Sure, citations are one way to argue. One can make arguments by using empirics, saying it depends what kind of claim you're making, right? So if I'm making a claim that that we have 100 bananas, then empirics are the best way to approach that question, right? You're going to say, here's a pile of bananas you can count yourself, or you're going to say, here's a reliable third party that's counted these and certified that there are 100, or something like that, right? That's perfectly reasonable way to prove something. But if you're talking about explanations that are more complicated than that, Kitty, you leave that lizard alone. Kitty, no. There. That kitty wanting to get that lizard, but I don't want her to get the lizard. So
she's a warrior kitty. She really is. You love to. Animals, forget it. She's after them.
Okay.
Lizard, bird, bunny, mice. That's what our cat will reward us with.
Yeah, she's quite the mighty hunter. So, look, the other thing is, but see, he's not using those kind of. There are different the kinds of claims he's making are not the kind of claims that are justified like that. So he's making claims about relational things. There's two kinds of absolute. There's relatively absolute and absolutely relative. So empirics are absolutely relative to the problem. Relatively absolute means it's logically consistent. And he's asking he's asking us to buy his affirmations that ought to be justified with TI by using TE citations. So it's like saying, well, why is it the case that let me think of a good example here. Okay, so it's like saying, well, why is it the case that we ought not steal all your money and distribute it to the poor? And you say, well, because the poor aren't poor enough and you aren't rich enough. That would be the wrong kind of answer to the question. So, because of course, the reasons for why we shouldn't rob each other are not related to outcomes or impacts. In any given circumstance, impacts or outcomes might justify any kind of crime. So we don't justify things like that with those kind of justifications. We have to use other kinds of justifications. He's giving TE justifications for TI questions. All right, I'm going to split now because I think I'm going to start cooking us some dinner. And I'm going to suggest that maybe Rachel and I watch Ghostbusters with my dad tonight.
Yeah.
So, okay, bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.